It all started at the Rendezvous Ballroom. So many of these historians, that are writing their books, if they'd only come over to the guy that started it and asked them the questions, or they weren't even born or wearing diapers when we started this whole shebang of power playing. And it kind of started back in the 50s when I met Leo Fender. I came to California in 1954, met Leo in 1955. He said, "Here, take this guitar. It's a Stratocaster. It's been out in the market for a year. I just been perfecting the Telecaster," he says, with a guy called Freddie Tavares from Hawaii. Freddie was the most ingenious guitar player. He used to play the Hawaiian steel guitar for Harry Owens and the Royal Hawaiians. And Leo was like an Einstein to the world of guitars and amplifiers. And he never rested. He'd be up 24 hours a day, and he became like a second father to me. I walked up to him and said, "My name's Dick Dale. I don't have any money." I says, "Can you help me out?" And he took a liking, I guess, and took me in. He says, "Here, beat the devil out of this thing." Well, he brought Freddie in from Hawaii. He says, "Freddie, if you'll work with me," he says, "you can record as much as you want, but just work with me and perfect the Telecaster." And Leo created the Telecaster guitar, for country players, and mainly all his amps were for country players. And they had, this 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch. They even had some 15s, but they weren't worth diddly jack speakers. And everybody was happy, in their sit-down jobs playing the Telecaster, and of course the Stratocaster was out. And as I say, Freddie went and perfected the Telecaster, because even though it was on the market, it didn't have all the bugs out, in the same way with the Stratocaster. So I play left-handed upside down backwards. Now a lot of them say, like Jimi Hendrix. No, not like Jimi Hendrix. I met Jimmy when he was playing bass and guitar backup for Little Richard in a bar in Pasadena, when I used to go for my breaks when I was playing at the Rendezvous. And he used to come and tell to me and go, "How do you do this? And how do you get that sound?" And I was experimenting amplifiers. We had blown up over 48 amplifiers, because when I first started to play a sound, drums was my actual beginning instrument, and then trumpet and keyboards, and then I learned sax and all the different ones. But what happened was that I always wanted to be a country singer, so my hero was Hank Williams and guys like Lefty Frizzell and stuff like that. Well, when we started playing I was playing drums. I loved that tribal sound that Gene Krupa had. So whenever I touched an instrument, I tried to make it sound like tribal drums and keep it simple. I never became one of these dedicated musicians. I was more or less one with the earth. I've lived with lions and tigers for 30 years, trying to preserve the breeds of all different animals before they get taken away from our children by poachers. And this world gets totally destroyed by the powers to be in control that really don't give a shit about what's out there as far as the grassroots people. And those are the ones that are the wheel of the buckboard, that go through all the crap and the grind and the grime. And they're sitting up in the buckboard, sitting there, never getting their ass wet. So my songs have to do with the ocean, the destruction of the ocean, the power of the ocean, making us feel that we're really nothing. I mean, hell, when you think you're hot shit, go stand next to the Andes or paddle out to a 15-foot wave. And then you pray to the man upstairs, "Get me over this wave and I'll go to Mass every Sunday." So after surfing all my life, and the water was my life and surfing was my life, they called me king of the surf guitar at that time. I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but the story is that when I got the guitar from Leo and an amplifier, it really didn't do the job that I was trying to do. And first of all, we went to a ballroom called the Rendezvous Ballroom. And I first originally started at a little club called the Rinky Dink Ice Cream Parlor in Balboa, California. And actually, I was the president of the Sultans of Southwest LA. My buddy Ray and I, we both rode down on our machines and got kicked out the same night, but we were going to check out the Little Honeys. And then we came back in a car with my guitar, and Ray brought his guitar. And we walked up to this ballroom, and they had this big school function going on, and everybody was dancing to this like 20-piece jazz high school band. And everybody was dancing in petticoats, and they were doing the Lindy, the jitterbug, and stuff like that. Well, that night, I said, "Hi, my name's Dick Dale. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm supposed to be on stage during break." I was just bullshitting him. And he goes, "Dick who?" Like that. So he goes, "Well, all right." So I get on stage with my cousin Ray. I call him Cousin Ray because he's just close to me. And we started playing, and everybody just came to the front of the stage, and just the two of us were playing. And I was developing a style, strumming on the guitar I called it a ruckatuck style. It was like to make it sound full because I didn't have a whole band. And the big band wouldn't back me up anyway. So we get on there, and that night was over, and we get up the next morning, and we slept in the car.